We start off today's wrestling news and rumors video with a rather unfortunate update regarding Daniel Bryan's status with WWE, because despite the fact that Daniel Bryan has instantly been pushed right back into the thick of things on Friday Night SmackDown following his return to the company recently, unfortunately for Daniel Bryan's fans, the former WWE World Champion recently revealed that his current contract with WWE will be his last as an in-ring competitor. And for those of you unaware, Daniel is currently signed to WWE for 3 years, with his contract beginning in 2018, meaning that next year will likely be Daniel's final year in WWE as an actual wrestler, before retiring for good. We have been told that Daniel Bryan does not intend to renew his current contract when it expires sometime next year in the spring, and as of right now, there are no plans for Daniel Bryan to have any more major title reigns in WWE, with one source mentioning that Daniel's last big feud in the company before permanent retirement will most likely be Seth Rollins for WrestleMania 37, in which Bryan would retire after the showcase of the Immortals. Let us know your thoughts on Daniel deciding to retire from wrestling next year in 2021, and do you think that Daniel should reconsider signing one more contract with WWE to wrestle for a few more years, or is Daniel better off retiring while he's still fairly young? While Rey Mysterio and Dominic are still finishing up what's left of their heated storyline with Seth Rollins on SmackDown after the 2020 WWE Draft, according to a new Backstage Rumor, Vince McMahon is reportedly planning to finish up Dominic and Rey's feud with Seth Rollins very soon, with the rumor stating that McMahon intends to utilize Rey and Dominic Mysterio as a tag team in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship scene in the coming months, with one source mentioning that Vince plans for Dominic and Rey Mysterio to be the superstars to end the Street Profits' reign as SmackDown Tag Team Champions sometime next month in November. We have been told that the bigger underlying story here is that the WWE will eventually be planning Dominic's heel turn on his father Rey Mysterio after they have a reign as a SmackDown Tag Team Champions next month to close out 2020 in a big and monumental way, with Vince apparently having big plans for Dominic Mysterio as a solo competitor next year in 2021. When the rumors began going around regarding Otis losing his Money in the Bank briefcase to another more credible top-tier superstar in WWE, there's no doubt that most wrestling fans were under the belief that once Otis lost the briefcase, he would be returning to the tag team division in WWE alongside Tucker. But shockingly enough, at Hell in a Cell 2020 this past weekend, Tucker turned on Otis and essentially helped The Miz win Otis's Money in the Bank briefcase. And as of right now, the general consensus behind the scenes in WWE is that Otis will be facing Tucker at Survivor Series 2020 in a Raw vs SmackDown match, with Otis representing SmackDown and Tucker representing the Raw brand. There's no doubt that many wrestling fans are baffled by the decision of having Tucker turn heel on Otis, because in all honesty, it's doubtful that WWE will be giving Tucker any sort of a big push on Raw now that he's split up from Otis, and one of our sources has mentioned that fans should not be surprised if Tucker is inevitably let go from WWE early next year. We now have our main story featured in this video, and it is regarding the new rumors that have begun to go around regarding CM Punk's rumored return to WWE in the near future, with Punk likely to make his big and highly anticipated return to WWE in early 2021 for the Road to WrestleMania 37, perhaps beginning at the 2021 Royal Rumble. Now there's no doubt that CM Punk WWE return rumors come and go around all the time, quite literally whenever CM Punk mentions WWE in any capacity, but apparently there have quietly and legitimately been negotiations between CM Punk and Vince McMahon over the past month or so, with Vince hoping that CM Punk would consider a huge return to WWE and be featured on Friday Night SmackDown in a top spot. As many of you are likely aware, besides the fact that CM Punk has a bit of animosity for WWE and Vince McMahon specifically, a big reason keeping Punk from returning to WWE when it had been rumored over the past couple of years was CM Punk's desire to compete in the UFC, and considering CM Punk's UFC run certainly was not very successful to say the least, Punk has apparently been more than open to considering a return to wrestling, whether that be for AEW or WWE, now that the chances of the cult of personality competing again in UFC are slim to none these days. One of our sources has mentioned that Vince McMahon has made CM Punk a very lucrative contract offer, with a contract reportedly being very similar to Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, or John Cena in terms of pay, with this deal apparently having many perks for CM Punk, including Punk only having to work part-time much like Lesnar. One source has even mentioned that they believe CM Punk has already secretly signed this big contract with WWE, and that this new deal that would see CM Punk return to WWE comes into effect this January in 2021, hence why Punk and WWE have been keeping things on the down low, to make Punk's return as big of a surprise as possible for fans. We have been told that Vince is unsure of whether or not The Rock will be able to compete at next year's WrestleMania 37 event, due to The Rock's hectic schedule and the ongoing global situation. And as of right now, if CM Punk is in fact secretly signed to WWE starting in early 2021, the plan would allegedly be for CM Punk to face off against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37 for the Universal Championship.